if anyone watching this event or anyone that you know has any information, leads, or tips about the story that you're about to hear today, we need you to reach out to our Cold Case and Missing Persons Unit. We have two ways that you can contact us. First is by email, coldcaseunit@oag.texas.gov, or call us at 512-936-0742. Now, to get us started, I'm going to turn it over to Texas's First Assistant Attorney General, Brent Webster.
Good afternoon. First of all, I'd like to express Ken Paxton's condolences. He had a scheduling conflict and was not able to make it today. Currently in the United States, there are 270,000 unsolved murders. In the state of Texas, there are over 20,000 unsolved murders. In the fall of 2020, Ken Paxton identified this as a problem. He also identified it as a problem in the sense that there was no major statewide group investigating these unsolved murders in Texas. So he began the process of developing a strategy and a plan to build a team that would investigate cold cases in Texas. He built that team, and that team began its work in March of 2021. Now, I want to introduce that team today. That team began with me, Brent Webster. I am the First Assistant Attorney General. I had 10 years as a prosecutor in criminal law, and he brought me on to help build this team out and also to help lead the agency. He also brought on a deputy for criminal justice, Josh Reno. Now, Josh Reno had prosecuted criminal cases in 3 different district attorney's offices, and most recently he was a human trafficking prosecutor in the Travis County DA's office. We also brought in a former assistant police chief named Brent Dupre of the Austin Police Department, who ran the headquarters bureau and had extensive experience in cyber investigations and technological investigations. And then finally, to lead the team in the day-to-day operations, we brought in Mindy Montford. Now, Mindy Montford is an accomplished criminal prosecutor. She's led a DA's office. She's also been on the other side, and she's been a criminal defense attorney and was accomplished in her own right there. She is also known for being good at investigating cold cases. So we were very happy to bring her on the team. Those individuals, with the exception of Josh Reno, are here with me today, as well as other members of our cold case team. Now, as luck would have it, Ken Paxton had the vision to form this team, and we took cases in December of 2021. This case came in right after we started taking cases, the case we're going to discuss today. Now, as you'll see, I'm going to read from some prepared statements today because this is an ongoing pending criminal investigation, and we don't want to say anything that might impact that investigation or hurt that investigation. Our main goal as a law enforcement agency, and the law enforcement agencies involved in this case, their main goal is to make sure that we see justice occur, and we locate suspects, and we find out where the facts lead us to solve these crimes. In 1981, 2 deceased individuals were discovered in the wooded area in Houston, Texas. Their identities could not be determined at that time. What law enforcement did know is that they were likely murdered. Decades later, in 2021, the organization Identifiers International was able to positively identify the bodies that were found in 1981 through the use of genetic testing. The couple was from Florida, and their names were Tina Gail Lynn Klaus and Harold Dean Klaus. They were a young couple. We learned this couple had an infant daughter named Holly, who was not found with the remains of the Klauses. And so the search for baby Holly began. The Lynn and Klaus families have been searching for answers concerning the Klauses and their baby daughter Holly since they were last heard from in 1980. Last year, when the families learned that the 2 bodies found in Houston in 1981 were in fact Tina and Dean Klaus, the families began looking for answers as to what happened to baby Holly and the circumstances surrounding the deaths of the Klauses. Through collaborative efforts of the Texas Attorney General's Office Cold Case and Missing Persons Unit, the Louisville Police Department, the Volusia County Sheriff's Office in Florida, the Arizona Attorney General's Office, the Harris County Sheriff's Office, and the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, I'm excited to announce that baby Holly has been located alive and well 42 years later. I also am happy to announce that the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children have offered and will be paying for Holly to be reunited in person with the Lynn and Klaus families. Holly has been notified of the identities of her biological parents and got to meet her extended biological family for the first time this Tuesday. They hope to meet in person soon, and NCMEC, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, is going to facilitate that meeting. This investigation highlights the hard work and collaboration of multiple law enforcement agencies working together across the country and demonstrates the importance of continuing to investigate cold cases both in Texas and in the United States. Now, this next part I'm sharing with you today because we're asking for help from the public because we have yet to solve this particular crime. While we rejoice today that Holly has been found and families that were looking for her for decades rejoice, we still are looking for suspects in this case. And I want to share that information with you, and I want to say this again. If you have information in this case, I'm about to share some facts with you, but if you have information about this case, please contact the Texas Attorney General's Office Cold Case Unit at coldcaseunit@oag.texas.gov. That's coldcaseunit@oag.texas.gov. And our phone number as well for this investigation is 512-936-0742. The following information is released today regarding our investigation in hopes that people will hear this story and come forward with more information. Baby Holly was left at a church in Arizona and was taken into their care. Out of respect for Holly and her family, we won't have any further comments or details regarding that at this time. The family that raised Holly are not suspects in this case. Two women who identified themselves as members of a nomadic religious group brought Holly to the church. They were wearing white robes and they were barefoot. They indicated the beliefs of their religion included the separation of male and female members, practicing vegetarian habits, and not using or wearing leather goods. The women indicated they had given up a baby before at a laundromat. It is believed that this particular group traveled around southwestern United States, including Arizona, California, and possibly Texas. There were sightings of this religious group around the Yuma, Arizona area in the early 80s. The women members would be seen around town at various points asking for food. In late December 1980 or early January 1981, the families of Tina Lynn Klaus and Harold Dean Klaus received a phone call from someone identifying herself as Sister Susan, who explained she was calling from Los Angeles, California, and wanted to return Tina and Dean's car to their family. She further stated that Tina and Dean had joined their religious group and no longer wanted to have contact with their families. They were also giving up all of their possessions. Sister Susan asked for money in exchange for returning the car to Florida where the family lived. The family agreed but contacted the local authorities about the situation. The family agreed to meet Sister Susan at the Daytona racetrack in Florida. The family described meeting 2 to 3 women and possibly one male, and once again, these women were wearing robes and appeared to be members of this religious group. The police purportedly took the women into custody, but there is no record of a police report on file that has been found as of yet. Given the age of this case, that is common. We're still on the hunt for that police report. The return car belonged to Dean's mother and was, in fact, the car that they had in their possession. And this is the description of the vehicle. It's a 1978 2-door red burgundy AMC Concorde. Tina Lynn Klaus and Harold Dean Klaus were likely murdered between December 1980 or early January 1981. Their bodies were found off of Wallaceville Road in Harris County, Texas. I'm going to repeat that. Their bodies were found off of Wallaceville Road in Harris County, Texas. And this was between January 6th and January 11th of 1981. They were last heard from by their families in late October 1980, and they had been living in Louisville, Texas in October of 1980, around that time. If you have any information regarding these murders, we ask that you come forward, even if it's a piece of information that may not be concrete evidence. We need to find pieces of the puzzle to solve this crime. The Texas AG's Office Cold Case Unit and the law enforcement agencies that work with us are committed to bringing justice in this case. We wish Holly the best. We're grateful that we found her, but we must continue with our purpose of finding who murdered this couple. As we stated earlier, we cannot take questions today because this is a pending investigation, but we thank you so much for coming out today, and we ask again to the public, please come forward with information. Thank you.